The first letter of the word that describes an individual within a community that's not afraid to be who they are, to be themselves, to have a voice against anyone who opposes that. Yes, they've been around, and yes, it exists as they thrive on that. The fifth letter added to the four in the acronym, my initial reaction was this was a mystery. I understand what it means, but I thought about the baggage, the history in a negative light, and still I get that there are those who's not going to give it the power to run their life. One letter towards a code name in a film franchise based off of a series of books, The British Spy Espionage, that the world has come to know since 62. You might see a sidekick, but he's more than just a side piece in a much bigger game. He brings out the gadgets, he's loading up the arsenal, he provides every bit of intel to keep the main man, 007, in check, while he got the skills to take a bad guy down at every turn, even when taking a beating himself, and charms his way with women. He's always gonna need him, in the chair or in the field. The letter that begins the name of the borough I was born into. I grew up with it, and I took it in as my own, to apply myself to work outside the house, to be thankful of how much it took care of me. I'm a child in one of five sections of a huge city. It might look small on a map, but that's just a map. And yes, there are big, if not bigger, cities out there in the open to learn and admire from. Same thing here. From the landmarks to the hotspots and the art that holds it together. The letter that starts a word that'll always be my defense, my bodyguard, my fallback to reassure my status as an artist, producer, and writer, to take my time with everything, to put in the effort, to bring out the best of my abilities. That I would never lose my way, that I would not sacrifice this gift just to have a check in my hands. Business is business as per usual, granted, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna give up what I have going for me, stories and visuals. The last letter to end it off through a stage name, he be killing it on his own, he be killing it on them features, and if I have to be honest, he's an underrated rapper. Arguably, anyone might try to come at me for this one. Here I go. These are my reasons for it. Yes, Lamar is big, and SZA has a hit album. Shout out to them. But alongside Soul, Rock, Rashad, Sir, and Skywalker, the content has the trended topics, yet the context is actually better. The material fits his personality, plus the instrumentals complements what he's talking about. Back to the beginning of a word that describes my process, that I could be looked at one way, then I flip that on his head. Like I'm that much of a nice guy that the overbearing nature of it seeps through. That the one day when a relationship could be on the horizon going forward, right now I get turned down because I'm not the type they're looking for, or I'm just ready to penetrate the indulgence between the drawbridge of satisfaction. How anyone could just lead me on, take advantage of it, and throw it in my face. That I'm someone to latch on and leech my way into popular placements till the tables turn and they will learn the recognition I've earned is the payoff I deserve. And yes, I can critique myself just like I could critique any of my favorite music artists, any of my favorite filmmakers, any of my favorite actors, any of my favorite composers, any of my favorite producers. Anything and anyone are not immune to the lack of depth. In the long run, it's about the improvements in the delivery.